look, I'm the most artsy-fartsy, eccentric person you'll ever meet. I may not look like it, but trust me, I am.
Here to talk about his new album, All In, which includes 16 songs, including the first outside cut that you've ever recorded.
Yeah.
Chris Janson, welcome to Country Heat Weekly.
Thank you very much. I'm a fan of the podcast, by the way.
Thanks.
Yep, I've seen it, and thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
16.
Yeah.
Talk about All In, man. That's All In.
Yeah,
Okay.
All In was it was a thematic thing that kept coming up. I mean, everybody kept saying, Travis Tritt, would you do a duet with me? Yeah, I'm all in. Okay, great. Eric Church, you want to do a duet? Yeah, I'm all in. And then, I put it all in on this album. I mean, I wrote 15 of the 16 songs, and I made this one over the pandemic. I was actually living in Florida, where you're from.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was living on there's a county road down there, which I know you know of, probably called Highway 30A.
38.
So we lived on 30A for a year during the pandemic. We went down on spring break. The week that everything got, wiped off the books for us, we were going on spring break with our kids. And so we just stayed in our house down there.
My boss did the exact same thing.
Yeah. I mean,
literally went there for spring break to their beach house.
And stayed. Same.
Mm-hmm.
So we moved there. We lived there all year. But I wrote most of this album down there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I wrote most of it over Zoom, which was weird because I was the anti that guy. I was like, I'm not getting online to write anything. I'm an old school songwriter. I come to Music Row to write my songs. I wrote most of it over the phone and things like that, which was totally unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote with Eric Church over text message and email and over just getting on the phone and hashing it out. But somehow we got what I think is a great record. So people are really proud of it. I'm proud of it. It was a great time to really focus on making an album, and that's what it did. So I focused on it, went to the drawing board, and there was no pressure. There were no real deadlines. And the good news is too, we right in the midst of making the album, we were or just right at the beginning of the pandemic, we were just kicking off onto a hit single with Done. Which ended up going to be a 2-week number one and a really big hit. But so that was nice to kind of offset the pressure. So it's been fun. The All In album's been a great success. It's only been out a week or so and just a few days, and it's been good.
Sun is out.
Yeah.
That means we're getting new summer anthems from
Yes.
Chris Janson. That's what we're looking for, man.
Keys to the country.
This
Thank
is
you.
what we love. Fix the drink, buy me a boat, and now we got Keys to the Country. Tell us
Yeah.
all about the song.
It's exactly what you said. It's the song of the summer. I mean, for the last couple of years, unknowingly to me, until people started really kind of putting in the press a lot,
Yeah.
was Chris Janson's the song of the summer guy. And I'm like the only song of the summer guy is Don Henley, okay? Like the song of the summer guy is Boys of Summer. That's the song of the summer guy, right?
That's a good song.
It's a great song. So, I'm thinking like Summer of '69. That Bryan Adams is the summer. He's the summer anthem guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, when they started calling me that a couple years ago, I was like, I'll take it. I mean, I'm gonna run with anything I can get. Positivity's positivity.
Mm-hmm.
So, You're right. It's springtime. We're right on the cusp of summer.
Mm-hmm.
Right on the brink of really hyper focusing on summertime touring and festivals, and it's frankly time for Chris Janson to have another. I speak in third person. I don't mean to. It's time for me to have another summertime song, and we made a debut last week on the Today Show on live television, and it was the first. It was really a special moment, not only just because of the song, and really kicking it out there, but it was because it was the first live audience back on their stage, which really meant a lot to Manhattan and
Right.
New York, and I think to the world stage as well.
Yeah.
And it really kind of set a nice tone and narrative. I mean, people were dancing in the studio. Like Al Roker was had a hot mic on, and he had a hot mic on,
Oh,
and
my
he was
gosh.
dancing in the corners like, I can't even believe it. And it was amazing to see. It's amazing to see,
Yeah.
and so it was a big blessing,
Yeah.
And right then, we knew it was going to be the brand new single, and it has really caught fire, just like you would hope a hit single would right out of the gate. But it makes people feel good. It's good vibes all over again, And for those people who say, "Hey, we were waiting on a Buy Me a Boat, Good Vibes, Chris Janson summertime anthem," Keys to the Country is it.
It's here. It's here. I want to say
Lay up.
something because you just mentioned something and it really made me think back. Okay, so you said, when you said Chris Janson, you're like, I talk to myself in third person, or talk about myself in third person. When I talked to Garth once, he said that. Now listen, no,
Sorry.
this is a great. I'm giving
Here
you a
we go.
compliment. Because you have to think of your career as a brand, as
Correct.
something outside of who you are.
As someone else speaking about it.
Because
Yes.
you are not just what you do.
That's
you
right.
have to separate the two things.
You're exactly
so
right.
to think of your career as that, and that's what Garth says. You know, he has to think about it in that same way.
Yes.
I love the fact that you do that because it shows the intentionality that
Thank you.
you have.
Well, I do it naturally.
Right.
And I thank you for saying that. Because I always stop myself if I catch myself doing it and go, oh, gosh, you sound like that guy.
See, but I think you sound like Garth Brooks when you say that.
That's a
I'm
good.
like,
That's a
yes.
great. That's
If
a
you're
great
gonna sound
synergy.
like someone.
And you know, and here's the thing. You are right. You have to look at yourself on the product scale. And we live in a very busy world, and there's a lot of things happening all the time.
Yeah.
And so, if you are a commodity, wouldn't you want to sell your commodity and wouldn't you want to sell what you have to sell the best to somebody? Okay, the way I've always just looked at it, and you don't have to like it, but the way that I've always looked at it is money buys good art. Art doesn't buy good money. And so this, as much as I love my job and I love making art and I love being an artist, it's still my job. So I want to be as most successful as I can. And I've always said that to people, and some people are like, oh, that's not a very nice thing to say about the artistic community. But look, I'm the most artsy, fartsy, eccentric person you'll ever meet. I may not look like it, but trust me, I am. I can write you the slowest, most poetic song in the world, or I can write you Keys to the Country.
Yeah.
And Keys to the Country changes a life just like a slow, poetic song does.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, if it makes people feel something, it just does. You know, it makes people feel something, and they're usually going to go, click, I want to buy that too. Thanks.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, now speaking of songwriting,
Yes.
this album contains the first outside cut
Yeah.
that you've ever done,
Yeah.
which in business lingo, for anybody who's asking, it's a song that Chris himself did not write. It's a song that someone else has written. So we would just like to commend you for having aspiring songwriter Eric Church do that for you.
I just want to say thank you so much. For what people don't know is that she's an amazing bomb publisher, and she knows the publishing world. So I know that when she says that, she also says it with a good heart, as in a loving spirit. Because being someone, I'm sure, as you've pitched people's songs and you've tried to help songwriters get up in the world and get cuts, it is an amazing thing. And Nashville was built on songs.
Yeah.
Nashville is built on songs.
This is a song. You know, this house that we're doing this podcast in used to be a songwriting haven from some of the biggest songwriters in the world, and I've written in this room many songs before I ever had a hit. But I would like to say that, you know, if Eric Church just keeps it going, he's really going to get there. No, I'm kidding. He
just keeps trying. I think he's got some stuff.
Again, everything that I say here, I could say to my friends because we're friends at this point, and he knows I'm kidding. Eric Church gave me "You, Me, and the River." You know, he sent that to me at random, and it was weird because it was early fall, and it was super ominous looking outside. And I remember I looked at my phone and it said, hey, this is kind of out there and a little dark, but I just want to see what you think of it. And I don't know why I start whispering, but it's like, that's how I read it, you know?
It's Eric Church.
I know I got real serious.
Whisper.
I'm like, I could picture him in his sunglasses telling me this. And so I said that, and I listened to the song, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, man. That is really good. That is really good. So I just texted him back in typical fashion of myself, which if you don't dream big, you don't win big. I'm a belief of that. So you have to literally throw it out there, right? What's the worst he could say? No. So I said, hey, I love this. Hey, man, why don't we do a duet? You know, and I thought he probably won't even text back. 2 seconds later, he's like, yeah, I'm in. So again, all in. Right.
All in.
So I was like, oh my God. And that's how it happened. But You, Me, and the River, whew, like it's a standout on this record. It really is.
Okay, so you mentioned earlier how much you love to play live.
Yes.
Hearing your music is incredible. Seeing you live is the complete package. And
Thank you.
you have so many different festivals that you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be out pretty much all summer.
We just wrapped the Halfway to Crazy tour. It was great. And yeah, we're going to be doing it's fair and festival season, that's pretty much for anybody, you know.
Right.
That's what you do in the summertime in country music primarily. And then in the fall, we'll go back on another headlining tour, and I think we're going, into arenas and things, and that'll be good. But live performance for me has always been that's what I do. It's a fabric of who I am. Songwriting has not always been that. Songwriting is something I learned once I got to Nashville.
Okay.
I was not a songwriter. I was just an artist, and I wasn't even really an artist at the time. I was just a kid with a guitar and a set of drums, and I didn't play harmonica yet, and I just came here on a whim, and I was covering Waylon Jennings and Hank Jr. songs, and that's how I got discovered, years ago. But I learned to write songs after being in Nashville, and then I learned to play harmonica after being here, and all those stepping stones really put me in, validated me to where I am now. And my live touring, you're exactly right, and I appreciate the compliment. But you're so spot on with it. Like, my music is one thing on recordings, and it's not much different than live. Other than we don't play to tracks or stems or anything. We play real music. It's all real. If you mess up, you mess up.
Yeah.
There's no padding in there to like, we'll get through it. You can't get through it. So my voice has to be on. My instrumentation has to be on. So with the band and the crew. But live performance is great. I love playing to thousands of people every night, and I love fans. I mean, without the fans, I have nothing. And the live shows are the one thing in my career where I could go, if someone asked me, all right, would you be weirded out about stepping on stage with Keith Urban or whatever? I'm like, no.
Nope.
Keith Urban's like one of my best friends, and I love stepping on stage with Keith Urban. I learn something every time I step on stage with Keith Urban. I learn what I wish I had done better, on that chord or this or whatever. But I love to play live. It's what I've always done. And I would be doing it whether I was sitting here talking about this stuff or not. I think that I can't build very good, but I can play decent.
You can play great.
Your shows are a ton of fun. I can
Thank
attest
you.
as well.
Yeah.
I can attest as well. The album is called All In. You guys go get it. Stream it on Amazon Music. Send it to a friend. Chris Janson. So good to see you, man. Thank you
Thanks.
so much for
Thanks
coming
for
by.
being
I'm going to send it to you too. Thank you.